In this video, we're going to look at the risk template, the project risk template. It's sometimes known as the risk cube. And the project risk template is required for each project. I require every team doing a process improvement project to construct a risk template, and that's because every project does have its own set of risks, and we don't avoid risk, we manage it. And so let's look at a couple of elements on the template. Up in the upper left-hand corner, we want to identify the project champion, if there is one, the process owner, and maybe the goal statement of the program or the project. The current phase refers to the phase of the improvement methodology, so it might be DMAIC or DMADV, PDCA, so forth, and then the date that we're updating the project template itself. Now, in the upper right-hand corner here, we've got what's known as the risk cube, and sometimes I do refer to this template as the risk cube, but more specifically, this little piece in the upper right-hand corner here is the risk cube. And the way you read this is, it's a matrix of the severity of a problem and the probability of it occurring. And anywhere you see green, it means that you can carry on with the project. Anywhere you see yellow, it means to be cautious, that there's potential problems that lie ahead for the project. And then anywhere that you see red, it means stop, reassess, readjust before you move forward with the project. So how does this play out? Well, I've got some items here that we can use as an example. So the first thing I do is number down the side here are risk item 1, 2, 3, and so forth. So risk item number 1 are resources. And the discussion that I've provided here is team members are not always available. In other words, the resources are not always available when the team needs them. And then we have to assess both the occurrence, how likely are the team members not going to be available, and if that is true, what would be the severity of that. Now, as you know by now, in my templates, wherever you see yellow colored cells, I require an input, and I chose not to do that here because of the other colors that are used from the risk cube itself. But so what I do is I key in a value here, and what I'm going to key in as a value for the occurrence comes right from this axis right here. So it's either 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. It is subjective, but it is an attempt to sort of quantify the extent to which resources won't be available and how likely that is to occur. So let's just say that it is very likely because people are busy and they've already told the team lead that they're not going to always be available, for example. So I'm just going to key a 9 in there, and you'll see here that it automatically picks up that it's almost certain, which is what this would indicate. In terms of severity, how severe would that be if many of the team members are experts in the content of the process, which they very likely are? Then that would be quite severe. But let's just say, for the sake of the example, I decided to designate the severity of 5, and by doing that, it translates the 5 to significant, and therefore it colors it red. So let's have a look at a significance of 5, or sorry, a severity of 5 and an occurrence of 9. So 5 and 9 gives me a red, and that's what is colored down here. Now my risk strategy, let's suppose I just put mitigation here, and then off to the side my response action and assessment. So maybe we agree to meet after work hours, something like that. Okay, all right. For the second item, we've got leadership buy-in, and so the discussion is maybe not all leaders agree with the project or the direction of the project, could be that sort of thing, okay? But maybe it's only one of many leaders in the organization, and so the probability is perhaps low, and the severity is also low, and then therefore this particular risk item would be low. So again, 3 and 3. So 3 matrix with 3 gives me sort of a green. So this tells us move forward. Just be aware that there is a potential risk looming for the project. And again, I would decide based on one of the response strategies that we learned in the module perhaps I'm going to transfer this risk. And then I might also give a response by maybe briefing the leadership regularly. In an attempt to maybe bring along this this person in leadership who is not bought into this particular project. And then maybe my last item is the magnitude of the problem. So maybe we don't know the extent of the problem just yet. Maybe we have some sense of it, but not a good sense of it. So maybe I call this 5, and I'll also make the severity of 5 as well. And maybe that's moderate. And again, I might putting something here to you know, sort of conduct an MSA or something like that. Okay. All right. And then on we would work through the project. So this requires the team to be involved in constructing the risk matrix. Any and all risks should be identified, and then once they are, and it's typical to have double-digit list of the number of risk items to be sort of double-digit. That's not uncommon. Once they are identified, though, then what we want to do is we want to rank these with the red first, so that all of the red items are at the top. And when you're presenting this as part of your project review, all of the high-risk items are up at the top. And you have to be prepared for leadership or the champion or a sponsor or a process owner. You have to be prepared to answer the question, what are you doing about the risk, and how are you managing it or mitigating it or transferring it or avoiding it? Okay, you have to be prepared for that discussion. It is an expectation of team leads. So that is the Risk Cube. It's a great tool. It isn't a difficult tool. It is a great tool, though, to help the team talk through how to manage some of the rocky road that's ahead, because there will be rocky road. But it gives them an opportunity to think through and manage how they're going to overcome some of these obstacles that they're going to see in the project. So thanks for watching the video. Go to sixsigma.org. There are other resources there, including this downloadable template, and we'll see you next time.